Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is Monday, May 4th, and we are starting a new unit. We are starting the solving equations unit, which is going to take us, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. And on the seventh day, we are going to write a quiz. This is a post that I made on Saturday. I included couple notes. So one is the or files, I mean. The one of them is the homework file, and the second one is the lesson notes file, which we are going to be using for the next few weeks. So I'm going to go over to our lesson for today. So hopefully you've printed off the notes, and we are on page 2 of the lesson file. I'm going to go through page 2 and 3 today. All right, so first definition, what is an equation? It's a statement of equality. Okay, that means we want to make sure that the right side is balanced with the left side. And then down here, I just have some examples of what an equation could look like. The right-hand side doesn't look like the left-hand side, but they are always going to be equal. So we're going to be looking for the letter that is on one of the sides, or both of the sides, that makes the equation true. Right? So for this equation here, it's asking us something plus 3 is equal to -8, and you have to figure out what that something is. All right, so what does it mean to solve an equation? All right, it's to find that unknown that I just talked about in the previous example. Right, it means to find the value of the variable means letter, that makes the statement true. You want to make sure that the left side is always equal to the right side. Sometimes this is called isolating the variable, and another name for the solution of the equation is also the root of the equation. So to solve an equation is like a balance, and it's important to do the same thing on both sides. So if you're going to be adding something on one side, you have to add it to the other side to be fair, right? You need to perform the same operation on both sides. To solve the equation, perform the reverse operation on both sides. And I will show you what that means in a second. All right, so to solve an equation, okay, find the root of each equation, find what this letter needs to be, so that the right side is balanced with the left side, right? So something plus 2 is equal to -7. So some of these you can probably do in your head, but I'm going to show you a process that you need to use for tougher questions. So back here it said you want to perform the reverse operation on both sides. Okay, so our goal is to isolate for A. We want the A by itself. What is the opposite of adding 2? It would be subtracting 2. All right, so I'm going to subtract 2 from the left side and subtract 2 from the right side. The reason for that is it says A plus 2. If I subtract 2, then these two are going to cancel out, right? They're going to cancel each other out, so we'll have the A by itself. And if you're going to subtract 2 from one side, you have to subtract 2 from the other side to be fair. So on the left-hand side, we have A, and then on the right-hand side, we have -7 subtract 2, which is -9. Question 2, the D is on the right-hand side, which is okay. With that, we have subtract 8 or -8, and it's the -8 that we want to get rid of. The opposite of -8 is adding 8, so we're going to add 8 to both sides. The right-hand side is going to leave us with D because these are going to cross out, and on the left side, we will have -6 plus 8, which is +2. So D is equal to +2. Number 3, the y is on the right hand side, it's +5. The opposite of adding 5 is subtracting 5. We're always trying to get rid of the number that is on the same side as the letter. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Now on the right I'll have y by itself, and on the left side we have 2 subtract 5, which is -3. And the last one on this page, this says 3 multiplied by W is equal to 4. Okay, so 3 multiplied by something is equal to 4. The opposite of multiplying is dividing, so we're going to divide both sides by 3. Okay, so on the left we have 3W divided by 3 is W, which is what we wanted, right? The W by itself. And on the right hand side we have 4 divided by 3, and you can leave that as a fraction. Okay, number 5. Solve each equation, find the root of each equation. So same instructions. Okay, 8 multiplied by x is equal to 24. The opposite of multiplying by x would be dividing, so divide both sides by 8. On the left-hand side, we'll have x, and on the right, 24 divided by 8 is 3. Number 6. Negative 7 times m is equal to 56. Divide both sides by negative 7. Right? Negative 7 divided by negative 7 is 1, or just the m. And then on the right-hand side, 56 divided by negative 7 is negative 8. Number 7. X divided by 4 is equal to 5. So for this one, I don't know if I have it done here. I do. For this one, what I did is the opposite of dividing by 4 is multiplying by 4. So I'm multiplying this side by 4 and multiplying this side by 4. Okay, so I've got 4 times x over 4 and 5 times 4. Okay, so now we have on the left-hand side 4 times x is 4x divided by 4. 4x divided by 4 is x. And on the right, 5 times 4 is 20. Okay, so we're just doing the opposite operation. Okay, and the last one here, number 8. Negative 8 equals negative 1 over 5c. All right, so to get rid of the negative 1 over 5, which is multiplied by c, I'm going to divide that side by negative 1 over 5. Okay, and same thing with the negative 8. We also want to divide that by negative 1 over 5. On the right-hand side, negative 1 over 5 divided by negative 1 over 5 is going to be 1. So they're going to cancel each other out, and we have to find out what the left-hand side equals. So now we need to do what negative 8 divided by negative 1 over 5 is. Okay, so we're trying to figure out what negative 8, and I just wrote that as negative 8 over 1 just to keep it in a fraction form because we have the bottom part in a fraction, divided by negative 1 over 5. So it's the same thing I have up here, I just rewrote it with the division symbol. Okay, and hopefully you remember how to divide fractions. If you don't, I'll just refresh your memory here. To divide fractions, what you do is you change the sign to multiplication and then flip the second fraction. Popping down, sorry about that. Okay, so negative 8 over 1 times, and I just flipped the second fraction, so it would be negative 5 over 1. Whether the negative sign is with the 1 or with the 5 or in the middle, it doesn't matter. This entire fraction just has one negative sign. All right, so now to multiply fractions, you multiply the top numbers and multiply the bottom numbers. So negative 8 times negative 5 is 40, and 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, so the answer is 40. All right, for the second example, or for the second part, I have three examples for solving two-step equations and then checking your work to make sure that your answer is accurate. And what you want to do is you want to add and subtract first, and then multiply and divide for two-step questions. All right. Okay, so I've got the first one already revealed here. We're going to add and subtract first. So what I did is I have 5x minus 6 equals negative 31. We're going to work on the left-hand side because that's where the letter is, and that's what we want to isolate. We want the x by itself. So we need to get rid of the negative 6, and we need to get rid of the 5. the 6 is being subtracted from 5x, so it says add and subtract first. I'm going to take care of that. So I added 6 to both sides, okay, in the first step. And on the left-hand side, these got eliminated. Negative 6 plus 6 is 0. So I'm left with 5x equals negative 25, because negative 31 plus 6 is negative 25. And then in the next step, I'm trying to isolate for x. So I'm trying to get rid of the 5, which is multiplied by the x. And so what I did there is I divided both sides by 5. Okay, now these can cross out because 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we have the x by itself. And on the right-hand side is negative 25 divided by 5, which is negative 5. All right, so I think the answer is negative 5. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to check to see if that's true. If I plug negative 5 into my equation, is the left side going to equal the right side? That's what I'm going to be checking. So LS stands for left side, RS stands for right side. So in the first line, all I want to do is I want to rewrite the equation, the original equation. What is on the left-hand side of the equal sign? 5x minus 6. So that's what I'm writing under the LS column. And then under the right-hand side, I'm writing what's on the right-hand side of the equal sign, negative 31. And now I'm plugging in my answer, okay, in for the x, and working this out. See if I get negative 31. Okay, 5 times negative 5 would be negative 25, and then I subtract 6, and I end up with negative 31. This number here, the 31, doesn't have any meaning. It's not special. All we're looking for is, does the left side equal the right side? That is all I'm checking for, okay? And it is, which means it's equal. All right, second example in the solving two-step equations is 2x plus 4 equals 16. Okay, so I'm going to use the same process. I'm going to do addition, subtraction first, and then division, multiplication in my second step. X is on the left-hand side, so we need to get rid of the 4, and we need to get rid of the 2. The 4 is what I'm going to get rid of first. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Okay, that's going to eliminate the 4 on the left-hand side and just leave me with the 2x. And on the right-hand side, I have 16 subtract 4, which is 12. And now, in order to get rid of the 2, which is multiplied by the x, I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And when I do that, I get x is equal to 6. Now I want to check to see if this answer is correct. Is it true? Did I get the right answer? I'm taking the 6 and plugging it in for the x to see if the right side matches the left side, if they're balanced. All right, so I make a little t-chart again. Left side has 2x plus 4. Right side has 16. All right, replace the x with the 6. Okay, so now I have 2 times 6, which is 12, plus 4, which is 16. And that does match the right-hand side, which was 16, which means that my answer, x equals 6, was correct. All right, last example. 8 subtract 3x equals negative 19. A couple things. I need to get rid of the 8, and I need to get rid of the negative 3. All right, it's positive 8 on the left-hand side, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both, because now I have 8 minus 8, which is 0, and then all I'm left with there is the negative 3x. And on the right-hand side, negative 19 subtract 8 is negative 27. And now we have negative 3 times x, which is multiplied by x. So we're going to divide. So divide both sides by negative 3. Okay, negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. So we've isolated for the x. And on the right-hand side, negative 27 divided by negative 3 is positive 9. All right, so we want to check if x equals 9 is the correct answer. So make a t-chart again, and looks like I forgot to put left side, right side in here. So I'm just going to add it, left side and right side over here. Okay, make a t-chart. And then on the left side, you're going to enter the left side of the equal sign, 8 minus 3x, and then on the right-hand side, we have negative 19. So let's see if we get negative 19 when we plug in 9 for this x here. 3 times 9 is 27, so we have 8 subtract 27, which does in fact equal negative 19. So our answer x equals 9 was correct. All right, for homework, you've got a couple things to do. So definitions from page 1 of the workbook file, and then page 2 from the homework file. So you have two different files going on here. This is the lesson file here. This is where you're going to be writing all your lessons for the next few weeks or so. I'd like you to get this definition page done. You can use this link here, the Math Dictionary for Kids, to get your definition and then write down an example. And if you could submit that on the lesson from Saturday. Saturday I posted this file and the homework file as well, and I've asked you to get the definition. So submit that there. And then the second file that you have is the homework file. So you have all the homework for the entire unit, okay? At once, you can work at it at your own speed. But I'm asking you to finish this part for Wednesday. If you want to work ahead, then this homework here, you can see it, is going to be due. This will be assigned on Wednesday, and it will be due the following Monday. But if you'd like to get a jump start on it, you can. All right, and this homework here, if you could submit to today's post, that would be great. And I think that's everything.